my channel. So here I go. I'm off on day one of the first extended road trip of the summer of 21. So this one I'm going to be doing south central British Columbia. And I got a plan for the first 2 days, but the rest of the days I have no plan. And I kind of like traveling like that. And I'll just look for interesting things to do on the way, and we'll see what each day has to hold. As a little point of interest, right here by the truck border in White Rock, they have a truck scale that was empty when I went by it, and I was really curious to see how much the setup is weighing right now. So here I am going moto camping on a road glide, and my total weight is 580 kilograms. In pounds, that's roughly about 1,320 pounds to go moto camping with. I might have to think about a different setup for next year. Anyhow, let's go see what kind of adventures or trouble or whatever I can find. Here we go. Well, there's the first wildlife of this trip. Always good to stop for them. So I'm now riding on highway number 3, known as the Hope-Princeton Highway in southern BC. Now this highway took 103 years to construct from start to finish, and it's only 146 miles long. Now the construction started back in 1846 during the period of the gold rush. And at that time, Governor Douglas wanted to start some passages for the prospectors in order to get up to the gold fields there. So they started Highway 1 and this highway, highway number 3, around the same time. Now this highway was riddled with problems with construction starts and stops, and it just couldn't get any traction to get the construction going. Now they did this section here, between Hope and Sunshine Valley. They did this first because it was the easiest section of the passage. And after that, it stalled out for quite a while. And later on in this video series, I'm going to talk about the details of the construction and when it actually got finished, and even the problems they had during the opening of the highway. Right now we're coming up to the Hope Slide, so I'm going to turn in and we're going to talk about a bit about the Hope Slide here. And after that we're going to make our way to Sunshine Valley. So heading into the mountains today, I'm guessing that we're going to be hitting some weather. This time of year in June, the weather changes pretty quick, and I always hit rain sooner or later, and it might even be on the first day. Anyhow, here we are at Hope Slide. So the Hope Slide is pretty famous because it happened relatively recently. So this slide happened early in the morning on January 9th, 1965. So there was reports of earthquakes during the night, 2 minor ones, but on the study that followed, they don't think it was large enough to create a rock slide, so they're not sure if the rock slide is what actually triggered the seismic graphs around here. So the original Hope Princeton Highway was right underneath this area of rock debris from the slide. And there's a story about that morning of January 9th where there was a snow avalanche that happened in this area. And coming from the east, which is that direction, traveling west, there was a 1959 convertible that got stuck in the snow from the avalanche. And then there was two trucks that came up behind it. One tanker truck, an aero tanker truck, and then a hay truck fully loaded. Now those trucks could not turn around because of the road. So they got out, and the one truck driver from the aero tanker recommended that everybody walk back, and it was roughly 5 kilometers to get back to the last place where there was a lodge. Well, he couldn't convince the other 4 people, 3 in the convertible and 1 from the hay truck. He couldn't convince them to go back, so he just walked on his own early in the morning. And then on his way back, he ran into a Greyhound bus, and he convinced the Greyhound bus to turn around and go back to the lodge also. Now, during that period of time when they got to the lodge and they got a hold of emergency services about the avalanche that happened and there was vehicles stranded, by that time this mountain gave way. And it was 47 million cubic meters, they calculate, of rock that came off the mountain and landed on the highway. So that debris field right there, they've calculated to be 70 meters above the original road height. So that's about 210 feet below the top of that debris field is where the original road was. And unfortunately, by the time emergency services got here, they did locate the 3 vehicles under the rocks. The driver of the 59 convertible was passed away. The driver of the hay truck was passed away. And the other 2 passengers they never found. So they're still under here somewhere. But the driver of the aero tanker truck was credited with saving an awful lot of lives because of the Greyhound bus that turned around to go back to the lodge. So that's one of the news stories that came out of this rock slide back in January 9th, 1965. So it's a pretty famous rest stop now to come and take a look at the debris, and they ended up building the road around the debris instead of clearing it. So there's the Hope Slide, which is the largest modern rock slide in Canada. The old one that I had on that previous video of Cheam Lake or Sheam Lake, that was the largest known avalanche, and that was from testing, but it happened about 5,000 years ago. This one's pretty recent. It's about 56 years ago. There's one other rock slide that's pretty well known in the Rockies, and that's Frank Slide. And I'm going to be going past that one near the end of this month, so that'll be a separate video. So there was the first stop that I wanted to do today, was the Hope Slide. Now the next one I wanted to hit, I'm hoping it's open, Sunshine Valley. There's a point of interest that I've never stopped to look at before, and we'll see what it's like. Hopefully the weather holds out, but you never can tell in the mountains here. So I think this is the area here, Sunshine Valley, and I believe this is where the area where it's Tajmi, the old Tajmi camp, and there's quite a historical story about that. So I'm going to go see if I can find it. There's the sign for it. stop of interest to the left. Here we are. The Tajmi Museum.